إذا مرحبا بكم في هذا التسجيل الجديد الخاص ب دفعة السنة الثانية علم نفس توجيهي. بالطبع نتطرق هنا إلى مقياس الإنكليزية، أي اللغة الأجنبية الخاصة بمقياس مقياس أول بالأحرى المقياس الإنكليزية، وسنتناول بالطبع مجموعة من النصوص العلمية الخاصة أو التي هي لها علاقة بدفعة السنة الثانية علم نفس توجيهي، أي سنتطرق إلى النصوص بالإنجليزية المتعلقة بمجموعة من النظريات التي سنتناولها بالطبع في إطار هذه الدروس. وبالطبع بخصوص هذه الدروس فهي أو النصوص أيضا بالأحرى بشكل أكثر دقة، النصوص هي موجودة على منصة e-learning لجامعة أبو بكر بن قايد تلمسان. وبالطبع هذه النصوص هي موجودة، وسنسعى في هذا الإلقاء الشفهي إلى محاولة شرحها وتوضيحها أكثر، حتى تكون لديكم معرفة أكثر وضوح وأكثر عمق بخصوص تلك النصوص. وبالطبع سنبدأ بالطبع بالبرنامج. I will start by referring to the curriculum. This is the first point, and here I am referring to the academic curriculum. البرنامج الأكاديمي لمقياس الإنكليزية للسنة الثانية في علم النفس التوجيهي. I divided the academic curriculum into semesters. The first semester it will be about psychology, an overview conception about psychology. I will refer to the definition of psychology because this is the first step to mention the importance of this academic field in social sciences. Having said that, we can categorize psychology as a field in humanities, and we can also categorize it as a field in human sciences, and we can also categorize it or categorize psychology as a field in social sciences. It depends on each university, and each university categorize this field which is named psychology in this or that a big field which is humanities or human sciences. Sometimes it depends on each university and each country, and we can say that psychology is a part of humanities or a part of human sciences or part of social sciences. And in our country, psychology is a part of social sciences. Beside sociology and anthropology, and also demography and sciences of education. And this is the main field in which the psychology is categorized, referring to social sciences. First of all, we will define psychology as a field, the content of this field, various theories which are characterizing this field named psychology. Then, briefly speaking, and then we will refer to some approaches in psychology. We cannot refer to all of them. I tried to mention the main approaches in psychology, and I divided these approaches into two main categories, which is classical approaches and the modern approaches. The classical approaches they are referring to behaviorism, and here I mentioned also the name of one of the main scholar that represent this approach referring to behaviorism. And here we can mention John Watson, which is a well-known scholar in behaviorism. And I also refer to his article, one of the main articles that he wrote, referring to the title of this article is Psychology as the Behaviorist Views It, which was published in 1913. I also refer to psychoanalysis, referring here to the founder of this approach, and here I mentioned the name Sigmund Freud, which is a well-known scholar in psychology, and he created psychoanalysis, which is one of the main classical approach in the field of psychology. And I also refer to one of his main books, mentioning the book which is entitled "The Studies on Hysteria," that was published in 1895. And also we can refer to Gestalt psychology or Gestaltism, and this word Gestalt is a German word, and I also refer to one of the main scholars in this, which is representing this approach, mentioning Kurt Kafka, which is well-known a scholar in this approach of named Gestalt psychology, and he wrote a book which is well-known, and the book is the title of the book is Contributions to the Psychology of the Gestalt, and which appeared in 1913. And then I refer to genetic psychology and or cognitive constructivism, and here we can refer, or here we refer to Jean Piaget, who created this approach or theory in psychology, and we can refer to one of his main books mentioning Le langage de la pensée chez l'enfant, and Piaget wrote this book in French. Then the book was translated into English, and the book was published taking into account the following title: Language and Thoughts of the Child, that appeared in 1923. And here I'm referring to the original book, which was wrote in French, and then the translation of of this book from French to English was or appeared later. I mean, after 1923. And after the classical approaches, and after the first semester, I refer to the second semester, which is mainly I am referring here to modern approaches. And in this case, I am mentioning another approaches, referring first of all to cultural and historical psychology, and who is representing one of the best scholar who is representing this approach is named Lev Vygotsky, which is a Russian scholar, a well-known Russian scholar. And he wrote a dissertation, a PhD dissertation, and he published it as a book, and the book is entitled The Psychology of Art, which appeared in 1925. And there is also another modern approach named humanistic psychology. And this approach is now very well known and very spread out across various not only Western countries, but also in other countries like in Asia and in South of America, and also in some African universities. And we can refer here to one of the main scholars who is representing this approach, referring to Carl Rogers, and he is an American scholar, and he wrote a client-centered therapy, and the book was appeared in 1953. And there is also another approach which is named the cognitive psychology, which is also a well-known approach, and it is a very spread out across the world. And here we can also refer to one of the main scholars who is representing this approach, referring to Ulrich Neisser, and he wrote a book named Cognitive Psychology, which appeared in 1967. And there is also a postmodern approaches, and here we are referring to an approaches that are questioning again both classical and modern approaches, taking into account problematizing the methodology of classical and modern approaches, and also questioning the content of both classical and modern approaches. And from this perspective, these approaches are named postmodern approaches because they are mainly questioning and problematizing what is very spread out, and what is commonly accepted. And from this perspective, we can refer to postmodern approaches. And at the end, and here we can refer also to one of the main book in critical in postmodern approaches, referring to one of the book which was edited by Dennis Fox and Isaac Prelentinsky, and they named their book Critical Psychology. And here we can also refer to the Encyclopedia of Critical Psychology, which was edited and directed by Theo. At some point I forgot. Thomas Theo, and he is a Canadian scholar, and he edited a very important encyclopedia named the Encyclopedia of Critical Psychology, that appeared in 2014, and it is the first encyclopedia in critical psychology, and it is representing, as we said, the postmodern approach in psychology. And this is a very important approach, because this approach is problematizing again what is commonly accepted, and this is the main point which is referring to what is named by postmodern approaches. But we have to mention also here that critical psychology and postmodern approaches in general in psychology are not very spread out, but they are starting to questioning what is commonly accepted, and this is a kind of a turning point in the field of psychology. And this is important because these kind of approaches are also taking into account what is specific, what is particular in this or that society, in this or that social psychological group, in this or that referring to this or that case study, etc. And this is the main difference between postmodern approaches and the classical and modern approaches. Postmodern approaches are focusing on what is specific and particular, but modern and classical approaches are mainly referring to what is commonly mentioned methodologically and epistemologically speaking in the field of psychology. At the end, I refer to Islamic psychology, and I put a question mark because there is a big debate about the academic status and the epistemological content and status of Islamic psychology. Can we refer to Islamic psychology? Can we say there is an Islamic psychology? And can we say that Islamic psychology is just a kind of a subfield of cultural psychology, or is it an independent field or an approach in psychology? The debate, there is a big debate about this kind of naming what is named by Islamic psychology. Can we say that there is a particular psychology which is related to the faith of Islam, to the culture of Islam, to the worldview of Islam? We cannot express a sharp answer, but the reason why I put the question mark, and here we can refer to Amber Haig, which is one of the main scholar who is writing various books and articles, academic articles in this in what is named by Islamic psychology. And one of his main book is Psychology from Islamic Perspective, and contributions of early Muslim scholars and challenges to contemporary Muslim psychologists. And here, just from the title, we can understand that Amber Haig is connecting between the historical contribution of Muslim scholars in this field of understanding the psyche from the various ways, and to connect these efforts, these previous and historical efforts, to current efforts that some contemporary Muslim psychologists are expressing. and also the connection between what early Muslim scholars understood by studying the psyche and what is now commonly accepted and what is academically shared by various scholars in the field of psychology. There is till now a big debate about this issue of what is named by Islamic psychology. And at the end, I put the last title, which is the last point, which is psychology of everyday life. And here we refer to various lived problematic in social psychological life, and we try to understand these various topics, referring to the way by which the psyche is understood in Algerian society, how Algerian people are dealing with various psychological topics in their home, in their families, in school, in the mosque, in also everyday life, like when we refer to various interaction in a public space. And here we are referring to what is mainly lived by people in Algerian society, and mainly by Algerian, and this is that's what we'll deal with in the first and the second semesters. We can also refer to to these bibliography, and here I classify these various books and articles from starting by Anderson, who wrote Cognitive Psychology and Its Implication, and then we have conversation with Jean Piaget, and I referred also to the book, some books of Brunner, which is a well-known scholar who started to deal with Piaget theory. Then he became more attached to the neo-Piagetian view about cognitive process, and also he showed also a connection with the Vygotskian view about the psychological development. And we have also other books and encyclopedia and dictionaries referring to the International Dictionary of Psychoanalysis, and also other approaches like the founders of humanistic psychology. And you have here various interesting books and articles referring to behaviorism and psychoanalysis and Gestalt theory, and also theory of Piaget, and also the approach of Lev Vygotsky. and also cognitive psychology and humanistic psychology, and also various books and articles in critical psychology and postmodern. All of them are referring to classical and modern and postmodern approaches. And we can also find in these books and articles other academic bibliography, and these are just some main books and articles which are very important in the field of psychology, broadly speaking, in the field of psychology. And you can see other books and articles which when you deal with these books and articles and encyclopedia. And thank you for your attention.